night cage fight.
Someone's going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Steal the Declaration of Independence.
The treasure of the Knights Templar is the treasure of all treasures.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really? My husband's married a cage.
Oh, yeah.
She's not a big fan of the shackles.
Long Journey says Reese because he's a spoiled American of the modern day.
Yeah, it's fine, Steve. I'll have to clean the place. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
But just give me a heads up, because I kind of have to do a little bit of prepping. I am a prepper.
Yeah.
Doomsday prepper.
It'll be like August.
You're a prepper? Hi, prepper.
I'm a prepper. Where are my notes?
Doomsday
Where are my
prepper.
notes at? All right. So this is Late Night Cage Fight, Season 2. This is the first episode of this exciting podcast where we are watching as many Nicolas Cage movies as we can in a lifetime and discuss them and rank them and battle over them. If you didn't know, last season the big winner was Birdie, fan favorite, animal favorite. We just keep coming back to it. Birds Are Us. I'm out of jokes. I'm out of jokes for Birdie. I feel like we've hit everything we possibly could. So maybe we should just act like it actually is a great movie. Well, apparently we think it is.
It is.
Our sponsor this week is Wild Birds Unlimited for all your bird feeder needs.
No, don't jump, Birdie! No! No, Birdie! Birdie!
Thank you, Sean. Yes, that was Sean, our previous Cage Lord. Happy to have you now for multiple podcasts. Thanks for coming
Happy to
out.
be here.
Great. I'm Reese. We also have Kevin and Steve, and we're all from Ohio, even if we're not all in Ohio. And we're just watching Nicolas Cage movies, man. First season was kind of us going through the movies and then having the cage fight as the season finale, but we're kind of changing the format this time, and every episode is going to have a battle and a winner. So, for this episode, we are battling Peggy Sue Got Married and Raising Arizona. Exciting, right?
Yeah. That's a word.
That's a word. That's a word.
Yeah.
I had seen Raising Arizona before a couple times. I think I first saw it when I was a teenager. Peggy Sue Got Married, I had never heard of that movie before this. And now I've watched it twice. But before we talk about the movies today, Steve, are there any Nicolas Cage updates?
There's not a lot, but we did find out that Nick's new movie, Color Out of Space,
Yeah.
there's actually a dialogue that he gives while doing a handstand. So even in his old age, he can still be as ridiculous as he was when he was a teen.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, we're expecting some quality Cage in Color Out of Space. It was, I think, produced by the same studio that did Mandy. So it should be pretty rad. Speaking of Color Out of Space, I did a little bit of research. Apparently, it's only playing in around 80 theaters nationwide. I think the only one in Ohio I saw was Cleveland. So it may be up to one of you guys to go see it and kind of, just one of us see it and then you just like explain it to us or something. I wonder which
one it would be.
I'd go see it with Sean.
Yeah, you guys can go see it together, make it a date.
Yeah,
but I won't be able to see it. I confirmed it's not even coming here anytime soon. So.
We can bootleg it a little bit, film a little on our iPhones.
That would be
You
awesome.
probably know the guy. You could probably get up.
Oh shit! I don't have an iPhone. Do I have to get an iPhone for that?
Yes.
Maybe if you care about me.
Done.
And you'd be kind of a dick if you didn't get the 11 S Max because picture quality is important.
Triple lens.
You're right.
Yeah.
So pony up that $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find more information on all these products and more on apple.gov. Or was it Net? Oh man, Color Out of Space. I'm so pumped for it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our first impressions of these movies. Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986 feature film. Who wants to talk about their first impression?
I honestly went into both of these movies pretty blind. I had heard of Raising Arizona, but Peggy Sue Got Married. The only thing I had heard of that was the song, actually.
Right.
Was the song actually made for this movie, or did they just name it after the song?
I believe they named it after the song.
Clever.
Yes. Cool. My first impression was it's kind of like a Valley Girl. I don't want to say like Valley Girl Reborn, but there were a lot of Valley Girl.
No, it was like Valley Girl meets Hot Tub Time Machine.
There it is.
Excuse me, miss. What color is Michael Jackson?
Black.
Yeah, I also felt like it was maybe the unofficial prequel to Vampire's Kiss. And that's judging by Nick's character, how he decided to play that character. There's also a scene where he pretends to be a vampire. Which is basically all of Vampire's Kiss. How else did I feel about it? I don't know, man. There's just a lot to unpack with Peggy Sue Got Married. It was so different. Thematically, a lot of things happening. Let's just get into it. I'm gonna hit it now with the Nick List. Nicolas Cage gets the first shot of the movie where, as part of a TV commercial, he opens a fortune cookie and says,
What? Next week we'll be selling Sanyo remote control VCRs for $299.
Look, it's Dad.
Oh no, I'll go broke. You'll give away Mitsubishi giant screen television sets for $1,299. How no?
teen Nick Cage picks up Peggy at her house in his spiffy I wrote comfortable. I meant convertible. It was a blue Impala, I think, and says, "Oh, you got a headache?" Before driving like an idiot. And then when they get to school, he tells her, "Yeah, I think this music's gonna last 3 years. So after graduation, let's just see some other people, do some comparison shopping, then get back together and get married, yeah?"
How could you forget? We talk about seeing other people and you forget. Oh.
Nick Cage goes to visit Peggy Baby at night. He points to a cutout photo of his idol. What was that guy's name? Fabian. And says to himself, "Charge me.
Feed me.
Feed me.
Charge me."
Nick Cage surprises the audience with a performance by his a cappella group, The Definitions, including Jim Carrey, with awful singing, gyrating, and repeating an Italian racial slur. Steve, you remember that?
No.
No? All right.
There was an Italian. That's weird. I don't even know any of those.
Oh, okay. Nick Cage dances with Peggy Sue and says to her, "I love dancing. Did you know the first dancing was for rituals?
You know the first dance.
Fertility rites?
Rituals. Like fertility rites.
I bet you money that line was completely unscripted and totally Nick Cage. And then, then he goes, with really bad ADR overdub and starts making out with her like crazy. Oh man, I got a lot for this Nick list, man.
Bring back all the best parts for me.
Peggy Sue comes on to Cagey Boy in his car and says, "Doesn't Lucky Chucky want to come out?
You're throbbing.
Your thrill hammer?" And
Everything.
he says, "You mean my wang?"
My wang.
Nick Cage climbs through Peggy's window at night while she's sleeping grabs a pillow and motions as though he's about to suffocate her to death, then changes his mind. He tells her he has to talk to her in the basement right now, suggesting that he's probably going to murder her and dispose of her body down there. Nick Cage reminds Peggy Sue, "No one does this to Charlie Bodell. I've got the eyes. I've got the hair. I've got the teeth. Look out that window. I've got the car. I'm the lead singer. I'm the man. Why are you arguing with me?" That's all I got for the Nick list, but man, what a list.
I mean, that's basically the whole movie summarized right there.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's scenes, for sure, but there's a lot more to the story and the plot. And Sean, would you like to give a brief summary of Peggy Sue Got Married?
Sure. Yeah, so basically the movie starts out with Peggy Sue and is it her daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Helen Hunt.
I was a bit unclear about that because they both look around the same age, but
yeah.
So Peggy Sue is recently divorced, and they are going to their high school reunion in the town that they live in. Peggy Sue seems kind of depressed since she sees a lot of her former classmates being married, having kids, and she kind of feels like her life is not really all there. And Nicolas Cage's character, he's known on TV as kind of like they own like an appliance shop or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy Charlie.
Crazy Charlie. He's known as kind of like, that kind of guy on TV with the wacky commercials, slashing prices and stuff like that. And he walks in, and so some stuff happens, and Peggy Sue finds herself traveling back in time to where she was a teenager. I don't remember actually how that actually happened. What was the...
She fainted.
Yeah. She was wearing her high school prom dress or something, and she asphyxia erotica or something like that.
Autoerotic asphyxiation?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
That's what happened to her.
Oh,
she went back and
Steve,
that's why people do it.
Oh man!
It is speculated that the prom dress is a TARDIS from Doctor Who, but this is unconfirmed.
I was getting some Donnie Darko vibes from this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This may sound strange, but for some reason I get kind of like a Back to the Future 2 vibe.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to bring Back to the Future up, I believe Back to the Future came out the year before.
Based on this? Oh.
The year before this movie, and there's a scene where Peggy is talking to, I think his name is Richard Norvik, who is the character who was kind of the quiet nerd in the past in high school, and at the party you find out that he's actually become like a millionaire. And when she goes back to the past and she's talking to him, she reveals to him that she has come from the future, but she says, okay, it's almost 40 minutes in exactly. Peggy says to him, "I have come here from the future," but if you watch her mouth, she actually said in that scene, "I have come back from the future." And I'm pretty sure they changed that to avoid lawsuits.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, I don't know if it was a trend at that time, if there were other time travel movies happening that I just can't remember or I'm not aware of. But yeah, definitely, it's I'm sure Back to the Future came out first and was so successful. And, Francis Ford Coppola was just like, I should make a time travel movie, and I'll put my nephew in it. Hey, Nick, would you like to be in my time travel movie as the hunk?
Yeah, I would like that, Uncle.
Okay, it's done. I'll get to writing. And that's the story of Peggy Sue Got Married. Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting. I've had a lot of coffee by this point.
I haven't had enough.
So yeah, did you get to the part where she goes back in time because of autoerotic asphyxiation from her prom dress?
Yes.
Okay, that is a joke, by the way. We don't know what caused the manic episode. Steve knows because Steve is familiar with how that goes down, but most of us.
I think very, very popular astrophysicists have written papers and dissertations on this topic. When you orgasm, you actually can displace your molecules throughout the time-space continuum in theory.
Exactly.
That I remember. That was in Neil deGrasse Tyson's Cosmos. So I saw that episode.
Having sex in space.
Yeah, I think that was season 4, episode 6.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go look that up.
Fact check that right now. Politico. So she goes back in time, and she's suddenly around. She's back in the school, right? It's like a blood drive. And you did mention that she's going through a divorce, right, with the Nick Cage character, and that's why she didn't want to go to the prom because she knew. Well, no, I guess he must have agreed not to go because she didn't expect to see him. So. He shows up. She is the reunion queen, and she faints. And when she wakes up, she is back in time at the school, and so is Nick Cage, Charlie, but he is a much different character. The way he looks, the way he talks.
And I thought it was kind of strange because the way that he was acting, I thought was a lot different from a lot of the characters that, he normally portrays. But I guess because he almost comes off as a little bit of like a nerd.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
like a nerd trying to be the jock, the popular guy. It's just so Nicolas Cage too.
It's almost like Uncle Francis just said to him, "Look, Nick, stop with the James Dean shit. Okay, just be yourself."
Be yourself. Well, you know what he did though? Did you notice his teeth?
He was pretty proud of them.
They were fake, man. He wore these ridiculously fake teeth. And then the way he talked, I actually looked it up in an interview. I don't know if you know this, but what's the actress's name who plays Peggy Sue? Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner.
Yeah,
that's right. Apparently, she was really upset by the way Cage played that performance, the way he talked, his voice specifically. And I guess,
that's surprising.
Yeah, I guess on set, I don't have the article in front of me, but I read it last week. She asked him to not talk like that, and he wouldn't. He wouldn't stop. He's like, this is my character. And then years later, she wrote a book. I think it was a memoir, and she wrote in there that Nick Cage was arrested for stealing 2 dogs or something, and then he sued her. So they have a history of basically hating the living shit out of each other.
So, what you're saying is the actress that Peggy Sue Got Married would happily go back in time and change things in a new movie called Peggy Sue Got Sued.
Yeah. Dude, it's like Valley Girl 2. Remember? The same shit happened with the lead actress.
Yep.
Except he was writing her
universe.
He was writing her love letters, and she was creeped out by it.
Yeah.
In this one, he's like, no, I'm going to talk like this because this is how my character talks. Okay? And you can either get over it or not. And it's so bizarre that I believe this movie is kind of a cult classic today, much like Valley Girl is. But at the time, this movie was actually well regarded by critics, and she was nominated for an Academy Award for this performance. But I'm not saying that that's bad, because I actually, when we talk about the acting, I thought she was great. So I don't want you.
I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah, she was great in that role. It's just the other elements of the movie and Cage's character that sticks out like a friggin' sore thumb. But yeah, so let's sum this up here. She goes back in time. Yeah.
Her goal is to, once she realizes she's back in time, her goal is to not sleep with Big Dick Nick. But no matter how hard she tries, she even hooks up with like the poet guy that all the girls are in love with.
Yeah.
And in the end, she still just can't resist.
The only deal breaker there was he wanted to go to Utah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I don't know. I don't know if it was just Utah. I think she was also realizing that she just.
Oh no! The reason why Utah was the real reason was he said, "I want to go to Utah because polygamy is legal there."
That's right.
Yeah, I just want.
That's what turned her off.
That character really threw me for a loop, because when Peggy is at the dance at the beginning, she says she sees the photo of him. He's a track star, right? So his photo's on the wall, and she says, "You know that Michael Fassbender? I don't remember his name.
Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons. That's like the only guy in high school that I really desperately just wanted to have sex with.
Fuck.
Do you know, he's the only boy in high school I wish I'd gone to bed with. Only one. Well, besides Charlie.
So she goes back in time and she tries, but and she does, but when she meets him, of course she already knows this, but as an audience, I thought he was like a jock. But this dude turns out to be this really weird beatnik writer. He wants to be a
drama
poet.
kid, yeah.
He's like a loner drama kid incel type person. And I'm like, oh man, that's not how I thought this character would be at all. He's like, I want to read some poetry to you when they have their little scene together out in the campsite or whatever. And what does he say? He has some line about rat puke.
It's called tenderness. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd scream. Betrayed by a kiss, sucking pods of bitterness in the madhouse of Dr. Dread. Razor shreds of rat puke fall on my bare arms!
Like, what is this guy trying to do? And then it comes out later, yeah, I want to move to Utah, and, you can meet my other wife, and we'll just have a good time. And the other crazy thing is, guys, when you watch Peggy Sue Got Married back to back with Raising Arizona, the last line of Raising Arizona is Nick Cage talking about moving to Utah. There's some crazy parallels happening. I don't know if you remember that. But yeah, anyway. Sean, please. I will pass the ball back to you. Yeah, so she's meeting people. What else is she doing while she is
Well, first of all,
Back to the Future?
I think we should just say Peggy Sue fucks.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, all right. She does.
All of the actors, it was hard to believe that they were supposed to be in high school, but especially her.
That was, I think that was a trend for the time, because I was just looking the other day about somebody commenting on the same thing with Grease. They were like, how was I made to believe that these were high school kids?
True. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, they all looked like they were in like their 40s.
Yeah. I think it's because of all of the directors that had, rules that you had to have plenty of boobies in every high school movie. And not being allowed to do that with kids.
Legal boobies.
Plenty of them.
Well, what was it? Was it Valley Girl that you had to have at least 4 movie scenes?
Yeah. That was our conversation. I remember that.
Yeah.
We didn't get any, though, in this one.
That's true. I was expecting some, but it didn't happen.
Sure.
Yeah. So after she sleeps with Mr. Poet,
yes,
Mr. Fitzsimmons, after smoking marijuana in the field, doing the devil's work.
Which, by the way, did you catch that line? She actually got that marijuana from her daughter in the future and brought it back from the future. Yeah, so I was like, man, she's a cool mom.
But smoking that interdimensional marijuana, would that like fuck with the time-space continuum or something? Like, would that get you more high because of
maybe that's what led her back to the future. I'm sorry, back to the not past.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued, man.
Is it implied in the movie that Michael wants to move there to Utah because polygamy is legal?
Yeah, that's what he said. Was that supposed to be funny?
I think it was a play on the fact that the entire reason she's getting a divorce is because Big Nick Nick cheated on her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Good point.
And that was her whole issue with him all along, was the fact that he wanted to go fuck other girls.
Yeah.
So then there's a spin-off TV show, my 5 space wives, my 5 time wives.
That would be good. Days of our time wives.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, what else does she do? I mean, she does a lot of generic. Hey, I got to give her credit though, because what do you always say when someone asks you, "What would you do if you could go back in time?" Like you say, "Well, I would try to probably hook up with this person. I know about different music that's going to come out, so I would try to just like write that song before the other band does." And she gives a Beatles song to Crazy Charlie. She loves you, yeah, yeah. And then she gives all of this scientific innovation to the Richard Norvik nerd character so that he can become, I guess, even richer. It's weird because I felt like when those scenes where she's talking to him felt like he was going to become a villain or something. Like he's going to become. We already know that he becomes smart enough to be a CEO of some company and write science books or whatever they are and become a millionaire. But it's like now you're giving him even more information. So is he going to become like a supervillain? Is she going to go back to the future? And and he's
demonetized again.
He's gonna be like the ruler of the planet. That's what I thought. It was just kind of odd to me. I guess the whole point, it culminates
I guess that means you're a true villain.
The end of his arc is after he's been working on all of this new science stuff that she's given to him. Like he's the only one who believes that she's actually from the future. Then he wants to marry her, and she's like, "No. Peggy Sue got married. Wink, wink. That's the end of the story. Okay, not marrying you."
And the title of the movie.
Yeah, that was the way of getting at it.
Clever.
Mm-hmm. We're skipping over some scenes where she's just kind of blowing off Nick Cage, his character, because you understand that in the true timeline, she pretty much did whatever he asked. She was just so smitten over him, and this is now her opportunity to show him that maybe she just doesn't need him. And so there's a scene where he's singing with his a cappella group, like I mentioned before.
With Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah. Jim Carrey has...
That surprised me.
Yeah, man, what a... At the
Why
beginning.
I oughta.
Why I oughta.
Did you ever figure out what movie that's from?
I did. Do you know?
No.
I did. It's from Three Stooges. Yeah, it's from the show. That's what Mo said, I think.
Well, there is the scene where, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but they get into that fight. And Peggy Sue tries to whip the long dong out.
Yeah.
Little Charlie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Wang.
Yeah.
She's trying to get that time Wang. And then, Nick tries to murder her and changes his mind.
Yeah.
Not concerning at all. That's a person that you should get married to.
Yeah,
literally.
Gosh. Now, I really didn't understand that at all. I believe that was completely improv. He thought it would be funny, or he genuinely thought this would work for his character to act like he's about to suffocate his girlfriend because she broke up with him.
I'm pretty confident that during the editing process, Nick actually watches all of the scenes. Because, obviously it's a movie. They do multiple cuts of this, and sometimes he's just digging around because it's Nick. And I'm guaranteed that he's sitting in the editing office leave that in there. That'd be funny. Leave that in there. Just cut straight to that.
Yeah. So you're saying he probably does all kinds of hijinks throughout the shooting?
Yeah, I guarantee he does it throughout. There are numerous scenes where he does ridiculous shit that doesn't make it into the movies.
Yeah.
But he convinces them every once in a while to leave one of them in, or he just doesn't give them any other opportunity.
Man, that's a really...
They're on the 10th take and they're like, Nick, we don't have the budget for this shit.
Well, I think the editor theory is a good one because they could have just cut it out.
Right.
So yeah, maybe he was in the editing room and the guy's like, damn, that's weird, we gotta cut that out. And he walks in, he's like, don't you dare.
My uncle directed this shit. And I want it in there.
Like, all right. He has George Lucas executive power in the editing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So
But he definitely didn't use his name at all to try to, curry favor at all.
But basically what happens is Peggy Sue decides that she's going to go back to her time. That she's done.
We have to go back.
She's done dicking around in the past. She's had enough of that. She wants more rights. So she's going to go to the future.
She wants to own property and vote.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? And, but before that, she wants to visit her grandparents, who, we get the impression they passed away long ago in the present time. So it's really interesting, these scenes, this whole part of the movie where she meets with her grandparents. They kind of believe her because they're just like, well, we're old. We believe anything at this point. And then she goes with her grandfather to what is supposed to be a Masonic temple. It's so weird. It's like they're making fun of the Masons, is what they were doing. It's a secret society, right?
I thought that was really what they do.
There's a Masonic temple pretty close to where I live, and
yeah, well, they are probably not.
They don't send women into the future.
Yeah, they do this ritual to send her back. It doesn't work because in the middle of the ritual, Crazy Charlie comes in with a burlap sack or whatever it is.
Actually, that kind of sounds like it worked.
Steals her away. Which is
a felony. That's a felony.
Yep. And these old Masons, they're just so into their ritual, they don't notice. I guess Nick Cage is like Batman, and they believe that it worked. They're like, wow, we did a ritual, it actually worked. I guess she's back in the future. I guess my granddaughter's gone. All right. It was so cartoony to me, that part.
Yeah.
And then she ends up back in the present time.
They actually weren't the Masons, by the way. They were the water buffaloes.
The water buffaloes? Is that what they were called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they looked like Masons, man.
Back check.
She comes to, I think, in a hospital bed. And who's looking at her? It's Nick Cage, Crazy Charlie, and he doesn't talk like this anymore.
Right, because he's old Charlie now.
I'm old now. And the way he talks, he created two different characters. He created, you know what I mean? It's not the same.
Yeah.
His present day character is so different from his teenage one. Just so weird. It's like, I can't live without you. That whole scene, it's supposed to be romantic. This is like the pivotal moment where they get back together, you know, for sure. And it's just so bizarre, just the way he plays it.
Well,
the way he
there's
talks.
There's a reason for that scene not being what you would expect.
Okay.
So the entire reason he created the two different characters was to, be a little bit more crazy as the kid version of himself. Crazy kids! And so, by the time they shot that final scene where he was an adult again, she had it up to here with his shit. And she didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
So any amount of chemistry they could have had was just gone.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It was... Because it would cut from... What's her name? Kathleen Turner to Nick. Kathleen Turner would say her line, and I would believe it. Like, yeah, wow, she's acting. Then it would cut to Nick. I love you. I cannot live without you. Just like this. People thought this was good.
Look awful. You look like you haven't slept in days. You look so old.
But happy. Very happy, Peggy.
I thought I knew everything about you.
I wanted to tell you that I can't. I wanted to apologize. I can't live.
But she finds out, I believe, that some of the things that she did when she went back in time, they actually happened, right? In the present time.
Yeah.
So she changed the past. Not hugely. Like marijuana isn't completely legal or anything. But yeah, they elope, and that's the end, right? Did I sum it up pretty well?
But then there's the after credits scene.
Oh no!
Where they tease the sequel, Crisis on Infinite Peggy's.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got through that. I'm just gonna go through some of my notes, just real quick. Some interesting things that I saw. Jim Carrey, we talked about. He has, I mean, I guess you wouldn't call it a cameo. He wasn't really big at the time, I don't believe, but his character annoyed the shit out of me in this movie. But it was typical Jim Carrey, so I can't be that upset. He snorts cocaine with one of Peggy's friends at the reunion. That was kind of funny. He's got his little straw in his ear, behind his ear. I noticed, now I'm going to get into, briefly, those things in the movie that, because of modern technology and high definition, we're able to see these things now, and they stick out, man. Like, at the reunion, there's a band playing, and the drummer is so obviously pretending to play the drums. You can hear the cymbals and everything. He's not even hitting the drum. He's pretending to hit the drum. There's no, what do you call it? Like when it bounces back.
Only you would notice that right away, though.
I guess, but I was like, that's bad, man. It's not terrible, but yeah. Let's see.
Because you play what? You play a keyboard?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Did you notice the part where Peggy Sue's little sister, when she first sees her little sister in the past, she reacts to seeing her like she died or something. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It was really odd. Like maybe that was written in there, but they took it out. But
like for some reason, she feels really, really guilty that she didn't spend more time with her.
Yes, that's how I felt that for sure. but we don't know. But we do know that the actress who played her little sister is Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Nick's cousin. So that's kind of an Easter egg. All right, another thing about this film, when it first opens, it actually opens to a mirror in the scene, and it ends with a mirror in the scene. It's, what's her name? Peggy Sue, looking in the mirror, and she turns around and she gets up. I noticed this right off the bat, man. She gets up, and in the mirror, the reflection is two different people. The movements don't match. It's like, what? And the same thing at the end with Nick Cage and Peggy Sue. When they move, there's a mirror, and the reflection doesn't even look like the actors, really. Like they really tried. I swear, I'm not crazy, okay? I may have traveled through time a couple times. But I know I'm not crazy because I looked it up on IMDb, and they were really proud of shooting it this way. They shot it with 4 actors instead of 2, right? And the other 2 actors pretended like they were the reflection of the leads. But they sucked. I think no one noticed it, though, because most people saw this movie in the 80s when it came out, and it was all fuzzy. You know, I don't know. But
I mean, they were probably on so much cocaine that, you know.
They probably tripped out when they saw that.
I mean, it was the 80s. All that time marijuana.
Time marijuana. Wouldn't that be funny if that's what Richard Norvik or whatever his name is? That's what he did. He started a time travel marijuana company. But his scenes made me think of Donnie Darko. There were parts of this movie that it felt like it was really trying to trip you out. Like when she first goes back in time, she's not sure what's happened. She thinks that maybe she's dead or something. And I remember she's walking down the hallway and she sees a balloon from the reunion in the school in the past. You know, it was kind of like an anchor to the past. And I thought that was really thoughtful to have some of these elements in the movie that kind of made it seem like there was a deeper meaning to it, when in fact it's really more of like a light-hearted romance. Does that make sense? Like they were trying to go kind of Twilight Zone or something, but I think they cut a lot of it out, or I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of strange that Peggy Sue throughout the movie is doing a lot of things that would probably actually very seriously affect the fabric of our reality. Yeah. And it's just kind of played off like, oh yeah, she's like fucking with the timeline. Like,
right.
Like how many ripples throughout the time-space continuum is that gonna...
Yeah. Totally. I don't know. I can just tell you that in this film, I thought there were a lot of good performances, but this is a movie, again, we've seen this before, where, in my opinion, Nick Cage ruined it in the best possible way. But his scenes, he had no direction or filter, or it was kind of like the Deadfall approach, where it's like, Nick, wear what you want, say what you want, we'll make it work, man. And apparently it did at the time. It was I believe, a pretty successful movie. So, but that's just my opinion. I feel like if you want some good comedy, watch it for Nick Cage's scenes, definitely. Any final thoughts on this one? We'll move into Raising Arizona soon. So, what did you think?
I don't know. I just I didn't I don't know. I didn't really love the movie. It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was whatever.
What did you think about Cage?
What did I think about Cage? I thought that he was annoying. Just I really hoped that she was not gonna want him in the end, and she did.
Did that ruin the whole thing for you?
No, because I mean, that was a long time ago, and Kathleen Turner's way too old for me, so no.
All right. Well, that sums that up. Anyone else with final thoughts? Peggy got Sue married.
Peggy got Sue married. Peggy got sued and married.
Mary Sue got pegged.
Mary Sue got pegged.
So I was just looking through my notes, and I did see one other thing. The voice thing, how she didn't like it. She actually approached Uncle Francis about it.
Okay.
To try to get him to not sound so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Uncle Francis just didn't do anything about it. It's like, it's fine. Just let him do what he's gonna do.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you can't make this up.
No.
It's real.
Sorry, Cat. No can do.
It's so strange that Francis Ford Coppola was cool with it, left it in, and the lead actress couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
She begged for him not to use the voice, and she was nominated for an Academy Award for this movie.
Oh.
People liked it, and when I watched it, I was like, why is he talking in that voice?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's probably just like, I don't want to have this fucking conversation again.
I've told him so many times.
Just let him do it.
Yeah. He's probably like, Kathleen, if we have to talk about this one more time, I'm gonna have to make you disappear for real. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry. Let's go into Raising Arizona. We ready for that flick?
Oh, yeah.
Raising Arizona, Coen Brothers movie came out. I don't have it up on IMDb right now, but
1987.
1987. Where is the Raising Arizona Nick list? Nick Cage steals a baby for his barren wife.
That is a white child. That is Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus.
Nick Cage looks at the cover of a Playboy magazine and exclaims, "Oh." That's all I put on there. Yeah. There's a lot of good Nick Cage in this, but
there really are.
But that stuck out to me. Oh yeah, Kevin.
Yeah. Hey.
Can you give a brief summary of Raising the Arizona Raisins? I mean, Raising Arizona.
Yeah, I can.
Tell me. Us.
Turn to the right! The first time I met Ed was in the county lockup in Tempe, Arizona. You're a flower, you are. A day I'll never forget.
I do.
You bet I do.
Okay, then.
My lawless years were behind me. Our child-rearing years lay ahead. But biology conspired to keep us childless.
You go right back up there and get me a toddler. I need a baby hide. I got more than I can handle.
At the time, Ed's little plan seemed like the solution to all our problems. And the answer to all our prayers.
He's beautiful.
What? Are you kidding? We got us a family here.
I want Nathan Jr. back!
What's his name?
Ed Jr.
Hi, Junior.
So far, we've just been using Junior.
We call him Junior.
He's out there somewhere.
Hold on, Nathan. We're gonna go pick up Daddy.
I've been taking these Huggies and, whatever cash you got.
You busted out of jail.
We released ourselves on our own recognizance. What Double Here is trying to say is that we felt the institution no longer had anything to offer us.
We got a child now. Everything's changed.
Where's Junior? Who the hell are you?
I'm a man.
We're absolutely gonna get him back. Just ain't no question about that.
Give me that baby, you warthog from hell!
Hey, you wanna know another thing? I'm gonna be a better person from here on out. Let's go get Nathan Jr.
Raising Arizona, a comedy beyond belief.
Well, it ain't Ozzie and Harriet.
Okay, so the movie starts out that it's Nick Cage doing the narration at the beginning, and he basically says that how he was able to get money at first was he was robbing convenience stores, and he did that for a little while until he got arrested pretty quickly, actually. So each time he's when he gets booked, when he gets fingerprinted and when he gets the oh God, what's that called? The mugshot. When he gets his mugshot, it's the same cop every time. It's Edwana.
Yeah.
This cop that ends up doing it, and then eventually he has a vision, and I can't remember why he all of a sudden decides that he wants. Well, actually, yeah, this is what happens. The last time he gets arrested, at the beginning of the movie, was she's crying one time when he gets arrested, and apparently her fiance had broken up with her or whatever. They had broken up, so
yeah, my finance
left me. So he pretty much tells her, like, baby, we're gonna run off together after I get out of this joint. But so he goes in, but when he gets, it pretty much skips to when he gets out, and then they end up getting married, and then they start fucking for a while trying to get baby made, and she finds out she's barren. I'm barren. And
Barron?
Then
Barron Trump?
They see
Barron Trump.
They see in the news that this local this local car guy, car salesman, Nathan, Arizona, and his wife have quints, and they decide that 5 kids for somebody, that's just too many to handle. And for one thing, that and I mean, that's who needs 5 kids at once? What's one taken away from 5? So
4.
They devise a plan to go and kidnap one of the quints, and so that's what they do eventually, even though it took High, which his name, Nick Cage's name in the movie is High, and then his wife is Edwana, but Ed.
Yeah.
So High takes the baby finally, and that ends up being. So they take the baby, and then eventually there's a there's a reward, and then High has a dream of a biker that bounty hunter biker, and he comes to that guy's real though. He comes to Nathan, Arizona, and ends up he tells Nathan, Arizona, that he'll find whoever took the baby or whatever, but he needs the ransom was like $25,000, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And it ends up, and he says, "Oh, I need $50,000 or whatever." But and in the meantime, a couple of while they're trying to take care of this baby, High and Ed, a couple of his buddies from prison where he had been bust out and track him down and end up showing up at his place, at High's place.
Mm-hmm.
And so his wife's not very keen on that, so she's like, well, they can stay for a couple days, and then they got to get their shit and get out.
Who wears the pants in this relationship?
Yeah, exactly. So, so the bounty hunter starts
bounty hunting.
Starts bounty hunting, and smells his way around, even though he can't breathe through his nose. If you hear him talk, interesting. He must be doing the lip curl. Where? Sorry, that's how animals tell if each other are in estrus. So when the two convicts, escaped convicts from prison, which has got John Goodman, one of them, and the other one he's not as famous, but anyway, their names are Gale and Evil. Is it Evil?
Evil. Yeah.
William Forsythe that plays him.
Oh yeah. They end up overhearing that High's brother-in-law comes over, and he finds out, that ain't their kid. That this kid's been missing, and they overhear this conversation outside, and they think that High and Ed took this kid for the ransom, and they want in on this, but they also conjure up a plan, and they try to get High to rob a bank with them. But when High won't do that, they decide they're just gonna take this kid for the ransom, and then also rob the bank. But they do take the kid, and which they all call Junior because they assume that it's Nathan Jr., which they assume. So they go to rob this bank. In the meantime, this bounty hunter is really close to getting to High and Ed, and both of these things kind of coincide. But when Gale and Evil leave the bank, and they realize that, oh shit, we don't have Nathan Jr., and they had set him on top of the car, which they did earlier in another scene that I didn't mention. But they set him on top of the car, and then they leave, and then he ends up falling off and sits in the road
in his car seat. Yeah.
And so then they turn around. Well, before they do, they get sprayed with this blue paint that was like that the banker put in their bag of cash because it was as a thing to activate at a certain point for somebody that would be robbing them.
Yeah.
So it blows up.
I had some issues with that because every time I've robbed a bank, I've never had something explode like that. So
Yeah, you always get those things. You always buy those things from like Walmart or some shit that they say they're gonna activate and blow up, and it's gonna be a bunch of ink or something like that.
They don't use those anymore because now the bank can be liable if the robbers get injured.
Oh,
as they should
It's
be.
a whole legal issue.
As they should be. Yeah. I always wondered that the
bankers should not be doing it. If somebody steals your money, you should just ask politely for it back, and if they don't give it back to you, that's your fault for letting it be stolen in the first place.
Yeah. I agree.
That's why you just steal Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, not to go off topic, but maybe Steve and Reese, you can confirm whether or not this is true, but I've heard that the police in Japan use paintballs to shoot criminals so people can identify them in public.
This is true.
It's not paintballs. It's similar.
Yeah.
It's actually like dirty socks, but like glow in the dark kind of stuff in them.
You're right.
Yeah, like dirty cum socks, basically.
It's like isn't it like a sock with a ball in it or something, and the sock is soaked in this stuff?
Yeah.
It has like ink on it, and they hit you with the ball, so the ball just lightly taps you. I believe someone told me this before. I've never seen it, so I don't know, but someone did tell me this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually it's a sock with natto in it. Which, you know, for the non-culture, this is smelly fermented soybeans.
Yeah, that's how they figure out whether you're a foreigner or not. If you recoil from it, they know you're a foreigner, and it's a big deal. If you turn around and try to eat it, then they're a little more lenient because they know you're Japanese.
I just wanted, I had to take a quick picture of you, Reese, because you froze on my screen and that picture of you was beautiful. But now you're moving again.
Oh, good. You have to send that. You have to send that to me in a card. Hey, on the subject of Bitcoins, I know you can make a lot of money off them. And I swear to God, I have dug so many places trying to find these damn things in the ground. And I have never found a single Bitcoin. I'm starting to think that this whole thing is like some kind of joke. I'll even go to a store, Walmart or Goodwill or whatever, and I'll be like, hey, do you take Bitcoins? And I'm like, I don't know, what's that? I don't even know what that is. Whoever came up with this Bitcoin thing is the biggest troll since the troll that
Since that guy under the bridge.
Since Troll 2.
Since that guy under the bridge with Billy Goat's Gruff.
Yeah. It's the Billy Goat's Gruff troll.
What you gotta do is you gotta go on the internet. You gotta download the Tor browser.
Okay.
Turn off your VPN. Just start typing in some random numbers and then put .onion and that way you won't get hacked or have internet criminals trying to steal your information.
Well, I already figured out because I heard another guy talking about it, and he said that you got to mine them. So I started going in old mines with a pickaxe trying to find these things. Nope, nothing. And then I heard these kids talking about it. Oh, okay. They're in Minecraft. So if you dig to the bottom level in Minecraft, there are Bitcoins. But guess what? People don't know this either. If you dig deep enough, I spent like probably an hour one day doing this. I got to the bottom of the map, and you can't dig anymore. The Bitcoins are in the part of the Minecraft map that you cannot dig through. So it's a scam.
You just need a fucking minesweeper. You need a minesweeper.
That's right.
You need an action replay.
I don't know what I need,
Gotta get
but
that God mode.
Bitcoins are not real. They are fake. It is a scam. Do not buy them, sell them, trade them, because you cannot. That's the moral of the story. I went to a bank. Now, I'm not admitting that I've robbed banks before. I'm not saying I've done it before, okay?
Allegedly.
This is allegedly. But I went in a bank to rob it for Bitcoins. I said, put the Bitcoins in the bag. And they said, sir, I don't know what those are. It's a scam.
Did you know that Akon actually has his own currency called A-Coin?
Is that for real?
This is real. You can look it up.
Oh, man, I'm not surprised. I don't know much about Bitcoins. I know that...
But you do about Akon.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Yeah.
I wonder what he's doing right now. I think he's in the chat, actually.
I was going to say he's probably watching Late Night Cage Fight.
Probably. I know he's planning that big anime convention in June called Akon. God. Oh, man.
Where you can only pay with A-Coin.
That's how you get in.
Didn't they get him for Firefest 2?
Did they?
I don't know.
Was you mean
like he'd be
the
a good
festival or the porn version?
Yes.
Yes, they probably did.
So anyway, while all this is going on, the bounty hunter,
Joba Fett,
gets in comes up and finds. So he finds High and Ed, and he gets in a fight with High, and he's beating the fuck out of High.
Oh yeah.
But then High, all of a sudden, he backs away from him, and High looks at his hand, and he's pulled the ring from pulled the pin from the grenade that the bounty hunter has on his vest that he carries.
Mm-hmm.
So then he blows up, and he's dead.
Definitely.
And let's see here.
Where's the baby at this time?
The baby, it was on the road, and then Ed realized. Oh, so.
Then I got run over.
Hey, does you just watched this? Does Ed get the baby right then, or does? I'm thinking Ed gets the baby then.
I think so. I think.
Yeah. Ed gets the baby.
Yeah.
And but then at that point, it's assumed that Ed realizes that how the real parents of the baby must feel because Ed almost lost the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then they plan on. They talk about it, and Ed has different feelings, and she decides that the right thing to do is to return the baby.
Yeah.
And so they end up returning the baby one night, and while they're returning the baby, Nathan Arizona catches them.
Mm-hmm.
But when he catches them, he doesn't call the cops or anything. And he realizes, like, after he realizes that she couldn't have a baby, and that's all they wanted was a baby, and then they ended up returning it, so he decides that everything's okay. I mean, he got what he wanted, he got the baby back, and he didn't have to give any money out, so that's good too for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what ends up, and then the movie ends with High having a dream of all these children and grandchildren in his dream that he has.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. We never really know if they. I mean, it's assumed that they're probably never going to have children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that recap, Kevin.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a great setup. I think it's a great script. It's really cool how they came up with this unique idea of this awkward, quirky family of a police officer who gets tangled up with this repeat offender criminal, and they're very much in love, and they want to have a baby, but they can't because she can't have kids biologically, and they can't adopt because of High's criminal record. So they're stuck in this unique spot where really they can't have a kid at all. Really, I mean, yeah, there's like no possible way for them. And so, they decide to steal one from a family they think doesn't really have any business having so many kids.
I'm getting that baby.
I'm getting a baby.
I gonna be mine.
Yeah. Raising Arizona.
Are those orca whales I'm hearing in the background? Sounds like orcas.
Aren't those endangered?
Sounds like whales.
Yeah,
Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, I did hear that Japan likes to kill whales for their blubber, which is a delicacy.
Maybe.
It's like sea crisco.
Yeah, I see it every day. I see the slaughter every day, and I see the smiles on their faces. They love it.
And dolphins.
Mm-hmm. Dolphins. Well, I'm just going to go out there on a limb here and say Raising Arizona is a very solid film. very well made, put together, well scripted, well acted, well cast. I also want to say, as far as Nick's performance, this is honestly the first movie in his career where I can say he fit the role perfectly and he played it great.
There's some reasons for that.
Are there? I'm ready, Steve.
So the relationship between Cage and the Coen brothers, they were respectful, but they were, basically Cage went in with a lot of suggestions on how they should change the film, and they just ignored it.
Really?
Yeah.
Not surprised?
Yeah. They have, strong vision of how they wanted the film to go, and they didn't really care what he thought.
Are you serious?
But they also said that it was a lot of fun working with Nick because he has a fertile imagination, which is a lot better than somebody that has to have kickstarted a little bit.
Yeah. Oh. Wow. See, I think we're right on the money with Cage. It's like he's an actor. He's trained as an actor. I think he can do it well with the proper direction. But if you leave him to his own wiles, you don't know what you're gonna get. You're just gonna get Cage outs and craziness,
Did you know that in Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage was crazy about his Woody Woodpecker haircut, and that it reacted to HI's stress level? The bigger the danger he was in, the bigger the wave his hair got.
Really?
Yeah.
So did he like the haircut, or did he fight it?
Yeah, of course he did. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. I mean, for the first time, I swear to God, for the first time, the hair fit the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also kind of impressed at how, from a general how the movie went aspect, the entire overall direction of the movie, how similar this was to our Christmas special, Trapped in Paradise.
It did have some of those vibes.
Yeah,
he
you're
kind
right.
of turned his life around, and then some couple of buddies from prison get out, show up on his doorstep, and run him into a bunch of criminal shit again, even though he's already got things going on that are less than proper.
Yeah. I forgot about Trapped in Paradise.
Wish I was there. Was there.
How experienced are all of you in Coen Brothers movies?
I'm pretty experienced, if you ask other brothers.
Just Lebowski.
Yeah.
Fargo.
I've not seen Fargo, but
yeah.
We did actually, when I was in high school, we watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou when we were studying the Odyssey.
Okay.
That's Coen Brothers?
That's Coen Brothers.
Oh, yeah, so I have seen that too.
Yeah.
I actually saw Hail Caesar in theaters back when that came out.
I did not see that one.
It was pretty good.
I've never been disappointed by a Coen Brothers movie, even though I haven't seen them all. But I admire that it's obvious they have a vision and they stick to that vision. And it shows. I mean, if you can rein in Nick Cage, that's saying something, of course.
Yeah.
But there's always a look to their movies. There's a special kind of, in the cinematography, even in Raising Arizona, you can kind of see it, of the style. There's a real style to it, and when you watch Coen Brothers movies, it just evolves and evolves until, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I mean, it's such, stylistically, it's so great and unique and vibrant.
All the Coen Brothers movies just have such a unique way that they're written. They have kind of their own tone that sets it apart from other films, kind of a more quirky,
yes,
self-aware style of writing. And you can definitely tell, you know, that just the cinematography in this movie is very, very well done.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main things that sets it apart from Peggy Sue.
Totally agree.
Which I felt that the cinematography in that movie was a little bit more generic.
Mm-hmm.
Just overall felt like a lower budget film.
Yeah. There were a few scenes that I thought were cool, cinematographically speaking, like when she first goes to her home in the past, and you see the camera move into the door, and I thought that was cool. Stuff like that. I thought the way they set up the shots in the fake Masonic temple was cool. But compared to Raising Arizona, though, for me, there's no contender when you're talking about how it looks and how the shots are selected and set up. Just, you have like some fisheye lens looking stuff, and like when you see the doctor, they're at the doctor's office and he's explaining with the chart, you see like the drawing of the woman's anatomy, and there's a narration so you can't hear what he's saying, but it's just like a doctor would never do that. The doctor would never look like that and explain it to you that way. You know, it's so kind of dreamlike and quirky, like you said. But it just works in the context of the movie. And that's what's great about Coen brothers, is they can kind of get, I used the word cartoony earlier for the Peggy Sue movie, and in that context, it's just cheese. But in Coen brothers, when I say cartoony, it works. It's funny. It's interesting.
It's explaining everything right there. It's like quick. It sums it up in that scene.
Right. Yeah, but visually too, it just catches your attention. The colors of the doctor's office and stuff. The couch that they have in there. They live in a trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that
a mobilized home?
Mobile home. There's nothing wrong with that. But they have this couch in their living room, and I swear my grandmother has that same couch.
I thought that too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. They put a lot of effort into making it look believable.
Yeah.
Like stuff that people actually had. And they did that in Peggy Sue too. But I'm not as familiar with that era for sure. When we're talking, 1960 or whatever. Like, I don't. The cars were cool. God, the music sucked. If that's what they had, Nicolas Cage singing with a bunch of other dudes.
I mean, we've had worse music. At least nobody was singing about, Johnny Ain't You Queer Boy.
Johnny Ain't You Queer Boy.
But Reese, he didn't make it, so I mean that was part of the movie. He sucked.
That's true.
You know, he was trying to be a singer, and they told him he wasn't good enough. So.
I loved that little scene where he sits down with the record exec or whoever he is. He sits down after he's done singing, and he says something like, "So, are you talking to your new client?" And the guy's like, "I'm sorry, Charlie. It's I don't know if it's the lyrics or," and then he just gets so depressed. He gets this look on his face like, "Yep, I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm going to finally do it tonight." I'm trying to highlight the bad acting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything else about Raising Arizona. All the performances are great. I think the actress.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I have one more trivia note, but it's not really about the movie specifically. Just kind of happened during the same time.
Okay.
Hold 1 second. I need to make sure I get this right.
Nicolas Cage was in both movies.
He was in both movies. You're right, actually. I was wrong.
I can give you some trivia. There's a scene in Peggy Sue where Peggy Sue is with Richard and tries to get him to go into a store to buy pantyhose to prove that pantyhose hasn't been invented yet, I believe.
That's right.
And in Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage wears pantyhose on his head to rob a store.
Well, this was in the 50s versus the...
Thank God for Peggy Sue.
Well, I'm just mentioning the pantyhose. I'm not saying that...
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's...
So, Sam Murray, the guy that played Glenn, and Nick were out at a diner together when an excited female fan came up to their table. And once she was finally convinced that the person she was looking at was actually Nick, she asked him for an autograph. So he wrote on a cocktail napkin, "Tomorrow you will die, Nick Cage."
For real?
Yeah.
God, I love Nicolas Cage. Tomorrow you will die.
Tomorrow you will die.
That's brave.
That's what she gets for not just being immediately convinced that he was him.
How do you not know?
Yeah.
How would you not know? Nick Cage walked in right now. One can dream.
What were you doing, looking for Nick Cage?
Yeah, sometimes I see people out that window and, I like to look at their faces and face off. The lady, the nice actress lady who played Ed, I thought was excellent and really just, even though she plays this kind of normal looking person, she's still beautiful in it.
This movie was actually the inspiration for a lot of Matthew McConaughey's characters. This is one of his favorite movies.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
I need a baby.
Hi, I need a baby.
Hi.
Gotta have a baby.
I love how she talks.
Can we talk about
Get me a baby.
Can we talk about the Mad Max vibes of the bounty hunter?
I didn't understand the whole bounty hunter thing. My first thought when the bounty hunter was introduced and he said, like, I've unleashed something, I thought it was like a premonition of the future for Nathan Jr. That he was going to grow up to become this biker.
Oh, man.
Because they were such terrible parents or something. That was my first instinct.
That's good.
I didn't know why he was showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I thought that too, now that you say that.
Yeah, because like none of the timing really seemed right as far as like the way the scenes cut. Because the bounty hunter, I didn't know what he was doing. What was his purpose? Like, how did he show up chasing the guys that broke out of prison?
Yeah.
Or was he after the baby all along?
Right. Yeah, I felt like there was something missing there to add a little bit more context. It was cool. Actually, when he was fighting Nick Cage, I thought this was it was like a prequel to Mandy.
Like Mandy? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nick Cage blew that son of a bitch up with his own grenade.
Just like Mandy.
Yeah. And then he looked at the camera and he said, "What's your favorite planet?" That's referencing Mandy. Yeah.
So Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He eats planets, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Silver Surfer. So for me, it's obvious. For me, my vote is Raising Arizona as the winner. If you want to fight me, you can. I thought that Nick Cage actually did great acting, and he also did had like some Cage outish moments, but he didn't break character at all. And then, of course, overall, it's just a good movie. It's so much more watchable than Peggy Sue because I watched Peggy Sue twice and had a lot of trouble getting through it the second time.
Yeah, Peggy Sue kind of, it started to lose my attention. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of seemed a little
aimless. Yeah.
See, I'm on the other hand. I think Peggy Sue was the winner for me because Raising Arizona was predictable. You knew what was going to happen. You knew the direction of the movie the whole time. But Peggy Sue, I didn't really know what was going to happen.
Okay.
And every time Nick was on the screen, I was just kind of on the edge of my seat of like, what is he going to do now?
Yeah.
So there was a lot more interest and it drew me in a lot more.
I can understand that. Because every scene with Cage is just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. It's just like...
Yeah. I also think that he's in it a lot, and he's in it in the last scene even.
Right.
So I understand, but that just means, Kevin, you're the one to decide whether we have a winner or it's a tie.
So, what do you think, Sean?
I think it's got to be Raising Arizona. I felt it was just the stronger film, personally. I may be a little bit biased because I like the Coen brothers, but I thought it was a stronger film overall.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from too. I might be biased as well, although I did enjoy the Cage rage in Peggy, but I just really liked the reason I'm gonna say Raising Arizona is, like I said before, I felt like this was his first movie in the chronology where I was like, man, he's really good in this, really good. Stephanie,
yeah, I'd say Raising Arizona just because it's so much more watchable. I don't want to watch Peggy Sue Got Married again.
I'm glad they watched it again.
Steve will watch it again for all of us.
Yeah.
All right, well, that seals the deal, boys. The Arizona Raisins will go into the final match. Yeah. Sorry, Steve. Are you pissed?
It's all right. It's all right. No, I'll survive. I'll survive.
All right.
It was a good movie, but Raising Arizona.
What would have happened? What would have happened, Reese, if I would have said Peggy Sue?
In that case,
we'd have much more of a battle because we'd have to come out of this with a clear-cut winner.
There would have been a breaker tie.
Yeah, I mean, there would have been ideally, but I mean, it's getting late, so I probably would have just said, okay, both movies are going to be in the final running because I ain't got time for this.
You know what? We could have done like a rock paper scissors tournament between all four of us.
But there's a freaking lag, man. I know one of you. There's a bit of a lag.
That means you'd lose.
A lag. There's a lag, so you're lagging even more.
Bit of a lag.
I think we'd have to impeach Steve.
Oh. Yes.
From the Cage panel.
I like that. No witnesses allowed.
No
witnesses allowed.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The Cage panel's so weak already. I don't know if we can handle to lose Steve.
Oh, God. Why would you say that?
So, I don't remember was in... Oh, no, it wasn't. I can't remember who the guys were in Trapped in Paradise. Nick's brothers, right? Who are the actors?
Dana Carvey and John Lovitz.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't even watch it. Yeah.
It was ironic for me, I guess, that even though they were different actors, they had very much the same, similar vibes to them. where like, you know, John Goodman was like the huskier, the mover and everything, and the other guy was the Weasley.
Right.
You know, they both had a very similar look and feel to their characters, and spanning what, 20 years apart?
I definitely think you're onto something, whether it's a trend or I don't know if it's the same screenwriter. I think the Coen brothers wrote Raising Arizona as well. So
yeah, they did in 3.5 months.
Yeah, it's interesting, the similarities, for sure. But I definitely liked Goodman and Forsythe. I thought that their performance was funny, how they overreacted to things. I really loved the scene where John Goodman emerges from the mud, having escaped from prison. Oh! It's just so over the top, and then he reaches back into the mud hole and pulls this leg out, and it's I think it's a metaphor, right? It's kind of like they're being born, reborn, birth, which is something that, right, Ed cannot do.
Yeah.
So I thought there was some thought put into that.
Weren't they coming from the sewer?
Yeah.
They were covered in fecal matter.
Right, and they go to that bathroom, and they don't even try to clean themselves. All they do is put hair gel in, pomade.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
They're Dapper Dan, man.
Dapper Dan. You want to know something that I don't know if it's because it's so late or I'm just this stupid, but every time we say Coen brothers, I think of the Wachowski sisters.
Are they going to be involved in the new Matrix movie that's coming out?
No idea. I know Keanu is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have everybody back.
Man.
Except the guy that plays Agent Smith, because he just kind of seems like a dick.
Yeah. He said he couldn't do it.
He wouldn't even come back as Red Skull.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm done with these movies.
Hey, how many Pollux does it take to screw in a light bulb?
3.
What was the punchline?
That's right. Takes 3.
That actually wasn't a joke. That was just a question from the 2020 Ohio graduation test math portion.
I was going to say census.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a really good question. So.
Yeah.
Well, Raising Arizona is our winner. Arizona was raised in High's dream. He became a football star, apparently. So yeah, thank you guys, Sean, Kevin, Steve, for this edition of Late Night Cage Fight. It was a pleasure, as always.
You're so very welcome.
Yeah.
What are we watching next?
What are we watching next, Steve?
Moonstruck and Vampire's Kiss.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It might be, actually.
And I was actually thinking, since I'm kind of playing catch up, I may actually go back and watch the previous movies.
All right. Can I just tell you, just skip Cotton Club. Save your sanity.
No. Watch it. It's great.
Well, you're not going to be able to find it, for one. You have
to... You can find it.
Can't I go to your grandmother's house and...
Yeah, she's got it. She's got it on VHS.
By the way, it was her birthday.
That's the best place to watch it.
It was her birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Meemaw.
Happy birthday, Meemaw.
Happy birthday, Meemaw.
I guess I'll forgive you for liking Cotton Club. Saying
She said it was a great movie.
I know. I haven't brought it up with her yet because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
I still want to be able to respect her.
Yeah, and he wants to still be able to respect her.
Yeah. All right. That's admirable, Sean. Totally. If you want to go back and watch, you haven't watched Valley Girl. It's definitely it's entertaining.
Oh yeah,
you will like it.
Yeah, I've actually only seen Birdies so far.
I almost feel like if you're gonna go back and watch all the movies, we should just have like a special catch up.
Yeah, Sean catches
Get your
up.
opinions on the previous movies.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, but at least give it something to talk about and pretty good material.
Yeah, I like that. We can do that. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you don't have to, but if you do, we could work that in. Have a special episode or half episode. So, yeah.
I'd just like to say, looking at the chronology, somebody decided to make a movie about 9/11 starring Nicolas Cage. I wonder if that person still has a job.
That's going to be an interesting episode for us.
Yeah.
I've seen it too.
I think I have as well.
And it's not great.
Is that actually going to be... I think that episode is going to be The Wicker Man versus World Trade Center.
That's going to be a tricky one.
That's going to be awesome.
It's only going to get better.
Wow. So yeah, next is Moonstruck.
Well, it's either that or it's...
What?
It's either that or Ant Bully versus World Trade Center.
I mean, we could always match it up a little bit. We could do, World War.
That would
versus
be good.
World Trade Center.
That's good. Yeah, I actually like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty close.
All right. Well, this is the cue to cut the stream, so I got to end it here and say...
All right.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Late Night Cage Fight. Catch us next time. Take care.